Ahoy! This video intends to explain how the commonly mistaken maximum multiplier stats work. If you take a look at, for example, a warrior's short skill Bloody Spirit, you will see a line like this. This is so far rather obvious. It takes your current defense and multiplies it by 25%, meaning 0.25. So if you've got 1000 points of defense, you're going to keep 250 of that for the duration of the buff. However, the reason why it says maximum at the beginning is because if you gain more of the stat while the buff is on, the value is added to the original instead of the new one. For example, if a wizard's buff adds another 60 defense, you won't have 310 but instead 265. Now what happens if you gain more of these multiplier stats? The logical assumption would be that they stack multiplicatively, but that is not true. Instead, they stack additively. Let's take the previous example with Bloody Spirit. The warrior equips an effector which multiplies maximum defense by 105%. Now instead of the previous 250 defense being multiplied by 1.05, the case is a bit more beneficial. The multiplier values add up. When performing this calculation, always look at their difference from 100%. Bloody Spirit has 25%, which means minus 75. Effector has 105, which means plus 5. So the outcome is a multiplier of 30%. Therefore, with 1000 base defense, you'll end up with 300. Let's have a look at a few more examples. Art of Curse decreases the target's defense to 80%, so that's minus 20%. A perfect effector decreases to 90%, which is minus 10%, so the total is 70%, that is minus 30%. A Wizard's Battle Mode 3 multiplies amp and critical damage by 113%. Now the unit of amp and critical damage is percent, but don't let that confuse you. If a wizard's base amp is 200%, and from now on I won't say percent for amp and CD, then this buff multiplies 200 by 1.13, which equals 226. And if the Force Unleashing buff is active, then the multiplier turns to 1.14 or 1.15 if the focus skill is on 2. This then means the amp becomes 230. These multiplier stats are extremely effective in late game when the base stats are already sky high on everything. An endgame wizard using all buffs probably has like 400% amp and 600% critical damage, which means 60 amp and 90 critical damage bonus just from these multipliers. Or a boss in FT3 likely has over 10,000 defense, which is why Art of Curse decreases that by 3000 points, more than every possible other debuff and synergy with their flat values. One more thing to add though, at the current state of the game, the PvP and PvE separated stats are not affected by this, but as far as I know, in some future update the developers are going to unify that. So that's about it really, and I hope this video helped you understand how your effectors, buffs and debuffs work.